Hello, everybody. Happy Wellness Wednesday. Coming at you live. Super excited to be here. I love Wednesdays. It's the middle of the week. Hopefully you've accomplished something. And on our Wednesdays, on our lives, you know what to do. Drop it in the comment section. Let me know if you're watching the live. Type the word live. I love knowing who is on and who is watching the replay. So if you're watching the replay, type the word replay in the comment section. Today's a great day. Today's a great day because I want to encourage you, if you are watching this live and you tuned in live before, you know what to do. Drop it in the comment section and let me know where you're tuning in from, where you're coming, where you're going, where you're parked, where is home. Drop it in the comment section because you never know. You might be right in someone else's neck of the woods that you haven't seen in years. You might just make a brand new friend who is parked, I don't know, a little ways down the way. And so drop it in the comment section. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm coming to you from the great state of Wisconsin, southeastern Wisconsin, in a small town called Hartford. If you're coming up Interstate 41, going northbound, wave because you're going to be driving right past my house. All right, tonight, hey Joseph, how are you? Hello. Tonight, we are talking about restriction and blood flow. And so as we age, every decade we lose about 10% of our elasticity. Elasticity, we feel it a lot in our ability to move, our joints, okay? We notice like, ooh, I'm a little stiffer when I wake up. My back doesn't move quite as good. Maybe your feet are hurting a little bit, which is a tell sign that you are definitely stiff and restricted, or maybe a little dehydrated, but that for another day. Today we are talking about how stiffness and restriction is a tell sign. Your body, all the time, whether you want to admit it or not, science has proved this, is constantly telling you what it needs or what it doesn't need. Your body is constantly giving you alarms. Sometimes they start really small and we ignore them because we're so focused on getting the job done. But if we don't listen, that alarm gets louder and louder and louder and louder. And sometimes in our body, the alarm gets so loud that we start to feel like we can't do the things that we want to do in life anymore. And one of those alarms can sometimes be restriction, and restriction in our tissues. What is restriction? Restriction is like the inability for you to be able to do the tasks that you need to in life. Now, I'm not talking about being the Incredible Hulk or doing some weird Gumby move or being able to do something super complicated with your body. That's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm talking about the inability for you to complete a task at hand. Your body's inability to move throughout the day with ease. And when our tissues are restricted, how do I know if my tissues are restricted? My tissues are restricted when I feel that rippy feeling. That rippy feeling was like, ooh, and you know what I'm talking about, where it's like the saran wrap is stretching. That's restriction. When you wake up in the morning and your back feels a little sticky, a little stiff, and then you kind of move a little bit and that dissipates over time, that's tissue restriction. When your calves feel tight, your feet feel tight, when you feel like your joints aren't as mobile and happy as they should be, you have that weird pinch, like in the middle of your hamstring, but you didn't really do anything. It's almost like someone took a stapler and stapled down that one piece of your tissue. I call it a snag, like a snag in like a nylon. That's restriction. Why we need to care is because if there's restriction, there is lack of blood flow. And for all of us, the last time I checked, without blood flow, body parts don't exist. And I've worked with hundreds and thousands of people over the last 20 years when it comes to functional movement specifically. And functional movement is always glamorous. It's not fabulous. It's not, super fancy and fast and furious all the time, but it's very, very, very functional. And I don't know about you, but I want to make sure I can do the things I want to do well into my 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, however long I live. So we need to focus on where those areas of restriction are. So first things first today, I want you to take a minute. Just a minute. 60 short little seconds. Roughly 8 to 10 breaths. And just notice your body. For many of us, we just wake up And from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed, we are living a very disconnected life from our body. We are just going, we're getting the job done, we're on someone else's schedule, and yes, sometimes we don't have control over every aspect of our life, but that's not something to be proud of. So I want you to take just a minute and check in with your body. How does my body feel? Try squatting down, try reaching your arms up overhead, try rotating your body, and notice what moves and what doesn't move. What doesn't move is a tall tale sign that you have restriction there. So what can I do? I want to focus in on one specific area of the body tonight, and that's the shoulders. Because so many of you, because you're drivers, you're sitting in the driver's seat for way too many hours a day, and your job doesn't really allow you the capacity to not do that, or you don't have a job. And so I want you to focus on a few things that you can do from the driver's seat, maybe not while driving, but you can do easily right in your own environment. And so when we sit a lot, whether you're at a computer or a desk or in a driver's seat, we end up with a forward rounding posture. Now, although we have good intentions, it just kind of happens. We just kind of slowly fade over time with gravity and other elements kind of in our way. So I want you to, first of all, think about sitting upright. But second of all, when you're not driving, you're going to grab out your resistance band. Now, don't overcomplicate this. You don't need a fancy resistance band, although I do recommend a therapy grade resistance. Okay, and so these are on our website. They're like $14. You get this one and then two loop bands and a whole guide. Really awesome. You don't have to buy it from me. Buy it on Amazon, whatever. But I like a resistance band because it has give. So then that way you're not forcing your body beyond what it's capable of doing right now. Okay, so you're going to grab your resistance band. Super simple, okay? Super simple. I like simple. Drop it in the comment section. Say yes if you like simple. You're going to grab your resistance band. And if you know your shoulders are really tight, you know that your body is carrying restriction, and a lot of it, especially up here, I want you to go wider. I'm going to step back. Wider than your shoulder girdle. You see, that's about wider than my hip. Shoulders and hips are typically anatomically pretty much the same. Usually a hair different. So I'm going to grab a little bit wider. All right? So now I'm not going to bend my elbows. No. This is all a shoulder girdle movement. I'm also not going to push my rib cage forward. Because when we push our rib cage forward, it's an optical illusion that our arms actually have lifted higher, and they haven't. Okay, so you're going to grab your resistance band. It has give. This is why it's important. Don't do this with a belt. You can, but just don't force it. So I'm going to take my resistance band up, 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 up. Okay, maybe this is as high as I can get. Maybe this is as high as I can get. I'm going to just wrap this because otherwise it's going to be whapping in your face on the camera. And I'm going to go as far as I can without pushing my ribs forward and without bending my elbows. And I'm going to keep coming back and roll my shoulder blades together. So I'm purposely rolling my shoulder blades in and pushing up through my knuckles. Okay, I'm pushing to the sky and going back as far as I can go. Now, me here, okay, you might be like, oh my gosh, no, that's way too far. I can never do that. That's my body's range of motion, okay? I also do these things, so I try to do them regularly. So this might be yours here, this might be yours here, this might be yours here. But what we're looking for is that point in which our body starts to feel a little bit of a pull or a little bit of a snag. So that's really my range of motion. Could I go forward? I could absolutely force my body to go further. Do I want to do that? Absolutely not. So we're just looking for that initial sensation. And this is where most fitness leaders go wrong. And I was that person at one point. We think going deeper is better. We think the cue of pushing farther is somehow going to equal more effective. But the last time I checked, damaged tissues don't help us. So I want you to take out of your brain, further is better, harder is better, and think of it like gateways. So when I bring my arms up, that first gateway, I don't get to go any farther. That first gateway is that first sensation. I don't get to go any farther till that fades. Whether I'm going to stay here for several breaths and kind of work through it, or I'm going to do that tomorrow and then the next day and then the next day. The second thing, I'm going to show you one more thing that you can do super easy on the shoulders to alleviate restriction, to help increase blood flow. So if you're getting numbness and tingling in your hands, if you have nerve issues, lack of blood flow issues, you get cold hands a lot, there might not be blood flow. to your hands. You can fix that. Okay, this is called flossing or shoulder flossing. I'm gonna bring your band up, same thing. We're not gonna bend our elbows. And I'm gonna floss myself. This is kind of weird. It almost looks like they're not my arms. And I'm gonna floss one way, but I'm pulling the band wide. I'm not bending the elbow. I'm pushing through my knuckles. I'm gonna floss one way. And then I'm gonna come back up, drop your shoulders, and I'm gonna floss the other way. Now I know I'm not gonna be able to get as far this way because I have a right shoulder injury that I've had for quite a while, and it's getting better. And I'm gonna come back up, and I'm gonna floss again one way. My arms are not that far behind my head, so you can also floss right above you if you have more shoulder restriction. But I'm gonna work up and back with the shoulders, floss one direction, floss the other direction. I can feel that all the way through my tricep, my bicep attachments, into my underarm, into my serratus here. Your serratus is like a super deep, sticky muscle, and I can feel that up into my rotator. So you have rotators right under here. You have 6 rotators that go around your shoulder. And so shoulder mobility, my ability to move my shoulders, doesn't matter how you move them during the day, just start moving them, because if you don't move it, you lose it. The more mobile we are, not flexible, not the same thing. The more mobile we are, the less sticky we are. The less sticky we are, the less restrictive we are. The less restrictive we are, the more blood flow we have. And if you have an injury, if you have any issue in the body, when there is blood flow, there is healing. And so I'll leave you with this. Your body is a temple. It is your job to protect it. Nobody gets an award for pushing the hardest, for breaking their body down so many times. My dad is 64 years old. And many of you watch my lives. He's a sewer pipe layer. He was. And he beat his body up every single day. That was his claim to fame, was I could beat my body up more than everybody else. He's now paying the price. His body, he is in so much pain every single day. I can't even communicate to you how much pain he has learned to deal with. Pain that could have had been avoided if he would have been a little bit kinder to his body. If he would taken just a little bit more time to stretch, to create mobility, honor those signs of pain, of restriction, and given himself some grace to do things about that. You can still do that no matter where you're at. He's slowly trying to move to a level of pain that is becoming more tolerable in his life. He's not giving up hope, but if he could go back, he would change it. I don't want you to be in that position. So I want you to try out this exercise. Try out the flossing. That's one of my favorites. So easy. You could do this in the driver's seat. Just open your window when you're sitting waiting. Do this while you're parked. Do this, when you wake up in the morning to warm up your shoulders. It's also going to help with that hunchy forward posture, that hump back that we all think we're never going to get, and then all of a sudden you notice it. Opening that up is going to open you up, and you're going to have better posture, better breathing, you're going to feel better, but more importantly, your tissues are going to be more mobile, less restricted, which means you, my friend, have more blood flow to your body. That is a win. Hey, Richard, I love the simple stuff. Keep it simple, stupid. I love you. No, I know you're not talking about me. Yes. Thank you so much. Hey, Joey, so much. It was great to see you on. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Okay, you know what to do. Make sure you share out this broadcast. Hit the share button. It doesn't cost anything. You don't have to pay a toll. No one's going to come and do something bad to you, but it really does help me and Mother Trucker Yoga and our page continue to grow and reach more drivers. Our goal of reaching 1 million drivers by 2031, showing them small, simple changes that they can do to improve their health, their life, and their happiness. And we need your help. This isn't just something that I want to do. This is something I want you to be a part of as well. So hit that share button. Check us out at mothertruckeryoga.com. And until next time, start moving your body. You got this.